The day my daughter's new husband brought paperwork to my kitchen table, I was washing breakfast dishes. He didn't knock, just walked in like he owned the place. I still had soap on my hands. "Morning, Barbara," he said. His name was Derek. He smiled, but his eyes didn't move. "Got a minute?" I dried my hands on the dish towel, the yellow one with the frayed edge. I'd been using it for 6 years. Derek was 29. Sharp suit, hair gelled back, the kind of man who checks his reflection in car windows. "Coffee?" I asked. "No, thanks." He set a folder on my table. Dark blue, professional, the kind lawyers use. "This won't take long." My daughter Rachel had married him 3 days ago. Small ceremony, 20 people. She'd worn her grandmother's pearls. I'd helped her fasten them. Her hands were shaking because she was happy, or I thought that's why. Derek opened the folder, pulled out stapled papers, pushed them toward me. "What's this?" I asked. "Just a family agreement," he said. "Standard stuff. Rachel and I talked about it. We want to make sure everyone's protected." I picked up the papers. The first page had my name at the top, Barbara Ann Whitmore. Underneath it said power of attorney transfer. My fingers went cold, but I kept my face still. You learn that when you've been a woman in a man's world for 72 years. "Protected from what?" I asked. Derek leaned back, folded his hands. "Rachel mentioned you're getting older, living alone. We want to help manage things. The house, your accounts, medical decisions. It's really for your benefit." I set the papers down. "Rachel asked you to bring this?" "We discussed it together," he said, which wasn't an answer. My father had died 4 months ago, heart attack in his garden. He was 87 and still planting tomatoes. I'd flown to Ohio for the funeral, sat in his house afterward with his lawyer, a man named Peter who'd known my father for 40 years. "Your father was very specific," Peter had said. He'd handed me documents, bank statements, investment portfolios. He wanted you to have everything, but he also wanted you to be careful. He said some people might come around if they knew. $1.5 million, that's what my father left me. He'd been a factory supervisor, saved everything, invested quietly, never told anyone, not even me until the end. "Think about it," Peter had said, "before you tell anyone. Really think." I'd driven home from Ohio and I thought. For 4 months I thought. I didn't change anything. Still lived in my 3-bedroom house on Clearwater Avenue. Still drove my 2012 Honda. Still bought store-brand cereal. Rachel didn't ask about the inheritance. She knew Grandpa didn't have much. That's what we'd all believed. Derek was watching me, waiting. "Where's Rachel?" I asked. "At work. She said you'd understand. She said you'd want to help." I looked at the papers again. Page 3 was about property transfer. Page 5 was about bank account access. Page 7 had a signature line, mine. "I need to read this carefully," I said. Derek's smile got tighter. "Of course, but it's pretty straightforward. Rachel's worried about you being alone. What if something happens? What if you fall? We just want to be able to help." "I'll call her," I said. "She's in meetings all day." He stood up, smoothed his suit. "Just sign it and I'll take it back. We can file everything this week." I stood too, picked up the folder, held it against my chest. "I'll bring it by this weekend, after I've read it." Something flickered across his face, annoyance maybe, or something sharper. "The lawyer said it's time sensitive." "Which lawyer?" I asked. He blinked. "Our lawyer, the one handling our estate planning." "What's his name?" Another blink. "I'll text it to you." He left. Didn't say goodbye. I watched through the window as he got into his black Audi, new, maybe 2 months old. He sat there for a minute on his phone. Then he drove away. I went back to the table, read every page twice. By the time I finished, my tea was cold. My hands were steady, but inside, something had shifted, something that felt like my father's voice, quiet and sure. Thank God you said nothing. Before we begin, drop a comment below with your country and what time it is right now where you're watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't just sit back. Tell me where in the world you are. Now let's dive into the story. I called Rachel that night, 7 o'clock. She always got home by 6:30. She answered on the fourth ring, breathless. "Mom, hi, sorry, just walked in." "Busy day?" I asked. "The worst. 3 meetings back to back. I'm exhausted." I was in my living room, same spot I'd sat for 20 years. The couch had a permanent indent where I always sat, right side, near the lamp. "Derek stopped by this morning," I said. Silence. Then, "Oh, yeah, he mentioned he might. He brought papers." More silence. I could hear something in the background. Derek's voice, low. I couldn't make out the words, but I knew he was there, listening. "Mom, we just want to help," Rachel said. Her voice had changed, higher, like when she was 16 and asking to borrow the car. That tone that meant she'd already decided and was just waiting for me to agree. "Help with what?" I asked. "You're alone. Dad's been gone 5 years. We worry." "Your father, my husband, James, dead at 67, cancer. He'd fought for 2 years. Rachel had been there, helped me through it, drove me to appointments, held my hand at the funeral. She'd been good then, solid." "I'm managing fine," I said. "But what if you're not? What if something happens and we can't access your accounts? What if you get sick and we can't make medical decisions?" "I have a will. I have a healthcare proxy. Those take time. This is faster, easier." Derek's lawyer said, "What's his name, the lawyer?" Pause. "I don't remember. Derek handles that stuff." "You signed something too?" "Well, yeah, we're married. We share everything now." I closed my eyes, tried to picture my daughter, the little girl who'd brought me dandelions, the teenager who'd cried on my shoulder when boys broke her heart, the woman who'd called me every Sunday for the past 15 years. "Can we talk tomorrow, just us, at my house?" "Mom, there's nothing to talk about. It's just paperwork. Derek said you were being difficult." Difficult, that word hung there like smoke. "I'll come by after work," Rachel said. "We'll explain everything." "Just you," I said. "Derek should be there. He understands the legal stuff better." I didn't argue, just said okay, hung up. Then I called Peter, my father's lawyer, the one in Ohio. He answered even though it was almost 9 there. "Barbara," he said, "everything all right?" I need advice. I told him about Derek, about the papers, about Rachel's voice on the phone. Peter was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Don't sign anything, not yet." "She's my daughter." "I know, but your father saw something like this coming. That's why he told you to wait, to watch." "You think Derek knows?" "I think Derek's the kind of man who asks questions, who watches what people drive, what they wear, where they live. And I think he's wondering why your father's estate was never in the obituary, why there was no mention of assets." My father's obituary had been simple. Beloved father and grandfather. Worked 40 years at Midland Manufacturing. Survived by 1 daughter. That was all. "What do I do?" I asked. "You watch," Peter said. "You wait. You see what they do next." "And the papers?" "Tell them you want your own lawyer to review it. See how they react." I thanked him, hung up, sat in the dark for an hour. My phone buzzed, a text from Rachel. "Sorry if I sounded short. Just stressed. Love you. See you tomorrow." I didn't reply. Instead, I went upstairs to the spare bedroom, the one James used to use as an office. His desk was still there. I hadn't moved anything. I pulled out the documents Peter had given me, the ones showing my father's accounts, the investment statements, the property deeds. 2 rental houses in Ohio, both paid off, both worth $300,000 each. I told no one, not even Rachel, because my father had said, "Wait, you'll know when it's right." And now I knew why. Rachel came alone. That surprised me. It was Thursday evening, almost 6. She pulled up in her car, a Honda like mine, 4 years newer but still modest. I'd made iced tea, set out the good glasses, the ones with the etched flowers. We sat at the kitchen table, same place Derek had sat 3 days earlier. "Mom," Rachel started, "I'm sorry about the phone call. Derek said I sounded pushy." "Did he?" She nodded, looked tired, dark circles under her eyes. She was 34, worked in human resources at a medical supply company. Good job, steady. She'd always been responsible. "Where is Derek?" I asked. "Home. I told him this should be just us." I poured tea, pushed a glass toward her. "Tell me about him." "What do you mean?" "I don't know much. You dated 6 months, then married. That's fast." Rachel's face got softer. "When you know, you know. He's smart, ambitious. He treats me well." "What does he do?" "He's in sales, medical devices. He travels sometimes, but not too much." "Makes good money?" She hesitated. "We're comfortable," which meant no, or not what Derek wanted. "Rachel, do you know what that paperwork was?" She looked at her glass. "Power of attorney, so we can help if you get sick." It wasn't just power of attorney, it transferred ownership of my house, access to all my accounts, legal authority over every decision I make. Her head came up. "No, Derek said it was just so we could help if you got sick. Did you read it?" She didn't answer, which was an answer. I pulled out my own papers, the ones I printed, a breakdown I'd written by hand, every clause, every implication. I'd spent 2 days on it. "This is what you were asking me to sign," I said. I slid it across. "Read it." She did, slowly. Her face changed, went pale, then pink, then white again. "He said," she stopped, started over. "He told me it was standard, that everyone does this for their parents." "Who's everyone?" "His parents did it with his grandmother. He said it protected her." "From what?" Rachel set the papers down. Her hands were shaking. "He said old people get confused, make bad decisions, that it was better to have family handle things before something went wrong. Do I seem confused to you?" "No." Her voice was small. "But he made it sound, I don't know, like it was normal, like it was loving." I reached across, took her hand. "What do you know about Derek's family?" "His parents live in Arizona. His grandmother died 2 years ago." "Did she live with them?" "I think so, at the end." "And her house, her money?" Rachel pulled her hand back. "I don't know. Derek doesn't talk about it much. He said it was painful." I let that sit there, between us, heavy. "Mom, are you saying—" "I'm saying I want you to be careful." "Derek loves me." "Maybe he does." "You think he married me for your money?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know, and because if I said yes, she'd defend him. That's what you do when you're newly married, when you're in love, when you're 34 and you thought you'd found someone. "I don't have much," I said. "You know that. This house, Dad's pension, Social Security, that's it." Rachel nodded, looked relieved. "That's what I told Derek, that you were comfortable but not rich." "What did he say?" "Nothing, just asked about Grandpa's estate." "What did you tell him?" "That Grandpa lived simply, that there probably wasn't much." My chest loosened, just a little. She didn't know. She really didn't know. "Did Derek meet Grandpa?" I asked. "Once, at Christmas, 2 years ago." Before Derek and Rachel were serious, before marriage was on the table. My father had shaken Derek's hand, been polite. Later in the kitchen, he'd said, "That boy counts things." "What things?" I asked. "Everything. The silverware, the paintings, the watch on my wrist. He's adding it up." I'd laughed then, thought my father was being paranoid. Old men get suspicious of young men. It's natural. But my father had been right. Rachel stood up. "I should go. I need to talk to Derek." "Don't mention this conversation." "Why not?" "Because I want to see what he does next, and I want you to watch too." She looked at me, really looked, for the first time in months. "You think I made a mistake?" "I think you got married fast, and I think his timing is interesting." "His timing?" 3 days after the wedding, he shows up here with paperwork that was already prepared, already reviewed by a lawyer. He didn't wait a week, didn't wait a month, 3 days. Rachel's face did something complicated, hurt and anger and something else, fear maybe. She left without finishing her tea. I washed both glasses, dried them, put them away. Then I went upstairs and called Peter again. She doesn't know about the money, but he's guessing he's fishing. Then he'll escalate, Peter said. Men like that always do. How? Watch, Peter said. You'll see. The crisis came 5 days later, Tuesday morning, 9:15. Rachel called, crying, "Mom, I need you to come to the hospital." My heart dropped. What happened? Derek fell down the stairs. He's hurt. They're running tests. How bad? I don't know. He's conscious, but they're worried about his back, maybe his neck. Mom, I'm so scared. I grabbed my purse, drove to Riverside, General, 15 minutes in good traffic. I made it in 11. Rachel was in the waiting room, red eyes, mascara streaked. She grabbed me when she saw me. "They won't tell me anything, just that he's stable." What happened? He was going downstairs to get coffee. He just fell. I was in the shower. I heard the crash. We waited. An hour. Then a doctor came out. Young woman, tired face. "Mrs. Patterson," she said, "that's me. Your husband has a herniated disc, L4, L5, probably from the fall. He'll need pain management, physical therapy, possibly surgery, depending on how he responds to treatment." "But he's okay?" Rachel asked. "He's in pain. He'll need help for a while. Likely can't work for several weeks, maybe longer." Rachel made a sound, small and scared. The doctor left. We went back. Derek was in a bed, pale, an IV in his arm. He looked smaller somehow, younger. "Hey," Rachel said, took his hand. "Hey." His voice was rough. "Sorry, I ruined the morning. Don't apologize. I'm just glad you're okay." He looked at me. "Barbara, thanks for coming." "Of course," I said. The doctor said I can't work for a while. Can't drive, can't lift anything. He closed his eyes. "I don't know how we're going to manage." Rachel squeezed his hand. "We'll figure it out. Your job doesn't pay enough to cover both of us, plus medical bills, plus—" He stopped, breathed carefully, like it hurt. "I don't want to burden you." "You're not a burden," Rachel said. But I could see it in her face. The fear. She was doing math. Rent, car payments, insurance. Derek's salary had been the bigger one. She'd told me that once. Proud, relieved. He made good money, more than her. "Maybe I should move in with you guys," I said. "Help out." Rachel looked at me, surprised. "Mom, you don't have to." "I want to. You'd be helping me too. I hate being alone in that big house." Derek's eyes opened, focused on me, sharp despite the pain. "That's generous, Barbara. But your house, would you sell it?" "Maybe, or rent it. I haven't decided. If you sold it, you could help with expenses, medical bills. It would make things easier." Rachel's head turned. "Derek, we can't ask." "I'm not asking. I'm just saying, if Barbara's living with us anyway, if the house is empty, it might make sense." There it was, the play, the emergency Peter had predicted. "Let's not worry about that now. Let's just get you home and healing." They released him that afternoon. I helped Rachel get him into the apartment. Small place, 2 bedrooms, 1st floor. Derek winced with every step. We got him settled on the couch. Rachel brought pillows, water, pain medication. "Thank you for being here," Derek said to me. "That's what family does," I said. I stayed until evening, made dinner, soup and bread. Rachel ate. Derek didn't, said he felt nauseous. When I got home, I called Peter. He fell down the stairs. Herniated disc, can't work. Now there's talk about me selling my house to help with medical bills. "Convenient timing," Peter said. "You think he faked it?" I think a herniated disc is hard to fake, but I think he might have helped it along, made it worse than it needed to be. These things happen. People slip, people exaggerate injuries, especially when they need leverage. What do I do? Keep helping, but don't sell anything, don't sign anything, don't move in. Watch what happens when you don't do what he expects. I thought about Rachel's face, the fear in it. She loved him. That was real. But Derek's eyes, those were calculating. 2 weeks later, Derek was still on the couch. Rachel looked exhausted. She'd been working full days, then coming home to take care of him, cooking, cleaning, helping him to the bathroom. I came by every few days, brought food, groceries. Rachel hugged me every time. "I don't know what I'd do without you," she said. Derek was always polite, always grateful, but his eyes followed me, watching what I carried, what I wore, how I moved. "Barbara," he said one afternoon, "can we talk?" Rachel was at work. I'd stopped by with lasagna, homemade, his favorite, apparently. "Of course," I said. He shifted on the couch, grimaced. "I'm worried about Rachel. She's carrying too much. She's strong. She is, but she shouldn't have to be. We're drowning here. The medical bills are piling up. Insurance only covers part of it. Physical therapy alone is $200 a session, 3 times a week." I didn't say anything, just waited. "You mentioned selling your house. Were you serious?" "I don't know. It's a lot to think about." "What if you didn't sell? What if you just took out a home equity loan? You've owned that place for 30 years. You must have equity. You could help us get through this. Then when I'm back to work, we'd pay you back." "A home equity loan," I said, flat. "Just temporary, just until I'm back working. Rachel's too proud to ask, but I know she needs help. And you're her mother. You'd want to help, right?" I looked at him, really looked. The expensive watch was gone, sold probably. His hair needed cutting. He looked like a man in trouble. "I'll think about it," I said. His jaw tightened. "How long?" "As long as it takes." I left before he could say more. That night, Rachel called. "Mom, Derek mentioned the loan idea." "He did." I told him he shouldn't have asked, that it's not fair to you. "It's okay." "No, it's not. You've done so much already. We'll figure this out. I can pick up overtime, maybe get a second job." "Rachel, you're exhausted." "I'm fine." But her voice cracked. "I just wish, I don't know, I wish this hadn't happened. Everything was so good, and now it's all falling apart." "It's just a rough patch." "It feels like more than that. Derek's different, stressed, angry sometimes. He snapped at me yesterday because I forgot to pick up his prescription. He's never done that before." "Pain changes people," I said, though I wasn't sure I believed it. "I know, but still." She was quiet. Then, "Mom, were you happy with Dad?" "Very happy." "How did you know he was the right one?" "He made life easier, not harder." Silence on her end, long enough that I thought she'd hung up. "Rachel?" "I'm here. I need to think about some things." She hung up. I sat with my phone in my lap, thinking about James, how he'd held my hand when I was sick, how he'd never once asked me to be smaller so he could feel bigger. The next day, I went to my bank, talked to the manager, a woman named Susan who'd worked there for 20 years. "I need information," I said, "about home equity loans and about protecting assets." Susan nodded slowly. "You need to protect something." "Maybe." "From who?" "I'm not sure yet." She didn't ask more questions, just gave me paperwork, options, names of lawyers who specialized in estate planning, elder law, financial protection. I thanked her, took the documents home. That weekend, Derek called me, not Rachel, Derek. "Barbara, I need a favor. "Can you take me to a doctor's appointment? Rachel has to work and I can't drive yet." I said yes, picked him up Monday morning, helped him into the car. He moved better than he had, still slow but stronger. The doctor's office was in a building downtown, but Derek had me drive past it. "Keep going." "Where are we going?" I asked. "Different place. My lawyer's office. I need to sign some paperwork about the medical bills." I pulled over. "You want me to take you to your lawyer?" "Just for a minute, then we'll go to the doctor." "Derek, I'm not taking you to your lawyer." His face changed, harder. "Why not?" "Because you lied. There's no doctor appointment." "There is. It's just after the lawyer." I put the car in park, turned to look at him. "What's the paperwork?" "Just medical stuff, bills, payment plans." "That doesn't require a lawyer." He stared at me. Then he laughed, short and sharp. "You know it, don't you?" "Know what?" "That you're sitting on a fortune, that your father left you more than you said." My heart kicked, but I kept my face still. "My father left me nothing." "Bullshit. I checked. I called the county clerk in Ohio. Your name's on 2 properties, both worth at least $300,000 each. Plus there was life insurance, investments. You're rich, Barbara, and you've been pretending you're not. Those properties are in a trust for Rachel. Show me the paperwork." I didn't answer. "You can't, because there is no trust. You inherited everything and you're hoarding it while your daughter struggles." "Rachel's not struggling. You are." His face went red. "I'm struggling because I got hurt, because I can't work, because my wife's mother won't help her own daughter." "I've been helping. Lasagna, groceries, that's nothing. You could pay off our debt. You could set us up, but you're sitting on that money like some kind of dragon." "Get out of my car," I said. "What?" "Get out. Call Rachel. Have her pick you up." "You can't just leave me here." "Watch me." He grabbed my arm hard. "You're gonna regret this." I looked at his hand, then at his face. "Let go." He didn't. "Derek, let go, or I'll call the police and tell them you assaulted me." He let go slowly. "You tell Rachel anything," he said, "and I'll make sure she never speaks to you again. I'll turn her against you, make her think you abandoned us. Get out." He got out, slammed the door. I drove away. My hands were shaking, but I drove straight to Peter's office. 6 hours. I didn't stop except for gas. Peter listened to everything, took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "You need to tell Rachel," he said, "before he does." "He'll twist it. He already is. Every day you wait gives him more time to poison her against you." I knew he was right, but telling Rachel meant telling her I'd hidden the money, that I'd watched her struggle, that I'd suspected her husband for weeks. "She'll hate me," I said. "She might for a while, but she'll hate you more if Derek tells her his version first." I drove home that night, called Rachel the next morning, asked her to come over alone. She came after work, looked wary. Derek had probably told her about yesterday, about me leaving him. We sat at the kitchen table, same place we'd sat before. Derek called me. He said you abandoned him at a parking lot. I did. "Mom, he's injured. He needed help." He lied. He said it was a doctor appointment. It was his lawyer's office. He wanted me to take him there to sign paperwork. "What paperwork?" "I don't know. He wouldn't say. But when I refused, he grabbed my arm, told me I'd regret it." Rachel's face went pale. "He grabbed you?" "Yes." "He didn't tell me that part." "I didn't think he would." She looked at her hands. "He's been different lately, angry, demanding. Last night he threw a glass because I brought him water instead of juice." "Rachel, I need to tell you something." She looked up. Something in my voice must have warned her. "Grandpa left me money, a lot of money. $1.5 million plus 2 houses. Her mouth opened, closed. What? That's what Grandpa left me. His lawyer told me to wait, to be careful, to watch before I told anyone. You've known for 4 months. Yes. And you didn't tell me? No. While I was struggling, while Derek was hurt, while we were drowning in bills, you had $1.5 million and you said nothing. Her voice was rising, getting sharper. Rachel, I'm your daughter. I asked you for help. Derek asked you for help, and you just watched us suffer. I was protecting you. From what? From him. She stood up. Derek loves me. Derek wants money. He married you 3 days before he showed up here with that power of attorney. He's been pushing me to sell my house, to take out loans, to give him access to everything. Rachel, he knew about the inheritance. He checked county records. He's been playing both of us. You're lying. I'm not. You never liked him. From the beginning, you thought he wasn't good enough. I thought he was too interested in what Grandpa left behind. You sound like Grandpa, paranoid, suspicious. Grandpa was right. He saw what I didn't want to see. Derek's been working us both, creating urgency, making you dependent, making me look selfish, and it's working. Rachel's face was red, tears streaming. I don't believe you. Derek fell. He's hurt. He's in pain. You're making him out to be some kind of monster. I'm making him out to be what he is, a man who saw an opportunity. She grabbed her purse. I'm leaving. Rachel, please, don't. I can't even look at you right now. She left. The door slammed so hard a picture fell off the wall. Glass cracked. I sat there for an hour, not moving, not crying, just sitting. Then my phone rang. Peter. How did it go? He asked. She doesn't believe me. She will when he shows his real face, and he will now that you've told her about the money. He has nothing to lose. What if she doesn't see it? Then you've done what you can. You've told her the truth. You've protected your assets. The rest is up to her. That night, I couldn't sleep. Just lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Rachel as a little girl, how she'd trusted me completely, how she'd believed every word I said, and how I'd just lost that. 3 days later, Rachel showed up at my door, 2 a.m, pounding. I threw on my robe, opened it. She was crying, makeup smeared, shirt torn at the collar. Mom. I pulled her inside. What happened? You were right. You were right about everything. I got her to the couch, wrapped her in a blanket, made hot tea even though my hands were shaking. She was shaking too. Tell me, I said. He stood up, just stood up. No pain, no limp. He walked to the kitchen like nothing was wrong. I asked what was happening. He said the act was over, that you'd told me about the money, so there was no point pretending anymore. She took the tea, held it like it was the only warm thing in the world. He said he'd married me to get to you. He'd researched Grandpa, found the properties, did the math. He knew you'd inherited. He thought if he married me fast, got close to the family, he could get access. The fall, I said. He faked it. He went to the doctor, got real x-rays, but he'd had a herniated disc years ago, old injury. He knew what to say, how to describe the pain. They prescribed medication and therapy, and he played it up, made himself helpless so I'd be desperate, so you'd feel guilty. Rachel. When I confronted him, he laughed, said I was too easy, that I believed everything. Then he grabbed me, said if I left him, he'd ruin me. He knows people, lawyers. He'd take everything I have, make sure I lost my job. I pulled her close. She sobbed into my shoulder like she used to when she was little, when the world was too big and scary. I'm so sorry, she said. "I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. I'm so sorry I—" "Shh, it's okay." "It's not okay. I chose him over you. I thought you were being cruel." "You loved him. There's nothing wrong with that. There's everything wrong with it. I was so stupid. You were human." We sat like that for a long time. Eventually, the crying stopped. She pulled back, wiped her face. "What do I do?" she asked. "You pack your things, you file for divorce, you move forward. He'll fight it. Let him. My lawyer's better." She almost smiled. "You have a lawyer?" "I've had one for 4 months, waiting." "You knew this would happen." "I hoped it wouldn't, but I prepared." The sun came up while we sat there, pink light through the kitchen window, the same window I'd watched Derek drive away from weeks ago. Rachel stayed with me, took 2 weeks off work. We called Peter. He connected us with a divorce lawyer, a woman named Margaret who'd handled cases like this before. "He'll claim you owe him," Margaret said. "Spousal support, half of everything. He'll say the marriage was valid and he deserves compensation." "What do I owe him?" Rachel asked. "Nothing. You were married 3 weeks before he showed his hand. No shared assets, no children. You kept separate accounts. This is clean, fast. He'll fight, but he'll lose." And he did fight for 2 months, but Derek's lawyer dropped him when the story came out about the fake injury, about the power of attorney attempt, about his grandmother in Arizona who died mysteriously after signing everything over to Derek's parents. Peter had found that, dug through records, found a pattern. By December, it was over. Rachel was free, Derek disappeared, moved to Texas. Someone said he was selling timeshares now. Rachel moved in with me, not permanently, just until she found her seat. She started therapy, started sleeping through the night, started smiling again. One morning, over coffee, she said, "I'm sorry I doubted you." "You don't have to keep apologizing." "I do, though. You protected me, even when I hated you for it." I reached across the table, took her hand. "That's what mothers do." "Will you teach me?" she asked. "Teach you what?" "How to be careful, how to watch, how to see people clearly." I squeezed her hand. "You already know. You just forgot for a while, but you remembered when it mattered." She squeezed back. Later, I transferred $200,000 into Rachel's account from the inheritance. She argued, said she didn't deserve it. "It's not about deserving," I said. "It's about starting over. Grandpa would want you to have it." She cried, hugged me, said thank you 100 times. That night, I stood in my kitchen, same kitchen where Derek had sat with his papers, where Rachel had fought with me, where we'd made up. I thought about my father, about his quiet voice telling me to wait, to watch, to trust myself. And I thought about how money shows you who people really are, not because it changes them, but because it reveals what was always there. Derek had shown his hand too soon, got impatient, made mistakes, but I'd waited, watched, protected what mattered, and in the end, Rachel came home. Not because I had money, but because I'd loved her enough to look selfish, to be the villain, to let her hate me so she could save herself. That's the part nobody tells you about motherhood. Sometimes protecting someone means letting them think you're the enemy until they're ready to see the truth. I poured myself tea, sat at my table. The yellow dish towel was still there, still frayed. Some things don't need to change, and some things do. Rachel's door opened upstairs. I heard her moving around, humming something soft, a song I didn't recognize. But I knew that sound. That was the sound of someone who'd survived, and that was worth every hard moment, every doubt, every sleepless night. My father had given me money, but he'd given me something more important, too. He'd given me time, time to watch, time to wait, time to see clearly. And that gift had saved my daughter's life, not from death, but from something worse, from a man who would have taken everything, her trust, her money, herself. I finished my tea, washed the cup, dried it with that yellow towel, and I thought, thank God I said nothing. Thank God I waited. Thank God I watched, because in the end, silence had been the loudest protection of all. Before you go, if this story felt personal, this channel is for you. Subscribe to the Grandma's Chair, where choosing your peace is never too late. Until next time, protect your peace. Bye for now.